Okie dokie, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second game of the two-game series between MiTH Trust and Arcanis Gaming. I'm OD Pixel. I am joined by Mike Cloris, aka Mr. Leaf Blower. Have the Leafs sorted themselves, and are you back with me, Mike?
You hear that? That's the sound of no leaf blowers.
Oh, beautiful.
It's amazing.
It is beautiful. I was going to say, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, so hopefully they don't come back because there shouldn't be anything else. But at least they decided to turn all that shit on when the game was just ending. So I didn't leave you high and dry for too long. But we're here in game number 2. Arcanis up 1-0, and MiTH Trust, they get their Naga Siren, previously first banned by Arcanis, and we might be seeing a very similar game than what we saw in game number 1, except it's going to be MiTH Trust doing the turtling.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, looks like they might kind of have a little swap round and change of pace, and it'll be interesting if Arcanis respond to that, and this time they go for the quick shutdown, the kind of the early game advantage, or if they themselves would decide to turtle it out and try and fight up against the late game Naga, which I'd probably say isn't the smartest thing to do because there's not a lot of heroes really at the late stages of a game that can deal totally with a Naga, and they're going to be able to pick up Flitch, but hey ho, no, I'm totally wrong. They're going to pick themselves up a Morphling, who I guess effectively probably would look to shut down the Naga before she gets totally 6-slotted, because surely a 6-slotted Naga is just going to be able to, out-rat, split push, take fights with a Morphling, and come out on top.
Yeah, as good as Morphling is at split pushing, as far as carry heroes are concerned, Naga Siren is the queen of doing it, and you are not going to top her with pretty much any pick. Maybe all your picks could do it together, but that's going to be pretty narrow. With the Lich pickup with the Morphling, I'm thinking it's going to be Arcanis going to be sending these two heroes over towards the mid lane. This generally tends to be the combo, and if MiTH Trust put their Naga Siren in that mid lane, then that's going to be the best way for Arcanis to shut down the Naga Siren from minute 0. If it does pan out like that, then Arcanis are going to be off to a fantastic start. Otherwise, MiTH Trust, they should just try to get this Naga Siren as much farm as possible and pick up heroes to fight in the mid game where Naga Siren is going to be, for the most part, unavailable. I don't think MiTH Trust are going to be going for any huge AoE ultimates, though Tidehunter pickup right now doesn't seem too terrible with the Naga.
No, that wouldn't be too awful at all, yeah, and Tidehunter, as we saw being played in the last game quite effectively as well, and did very well, even though he didn't have the best of starts either. But yeah, looks like obviously with this, well, the ban's coming out pretty standard. They do ban that, obviously, the Razor, which is obviously interesting, as it was played in the last game quite effectively by themselves, but obviously they didn't end up winning the game. I mean, it was a huge nuisance, and it did allow them to push, whereas, they did have a team that really was quite weak in terms of the push, and Razor just offers so much and can compensate for a lot of lacking in other team members. And MiTH, they're going to pick themselves up the IO. And, okay, and I believe, in fact, it was in the early game today, they picked themselves IO, and they ran it with a Sven. So maybe we might see the Sven come out again, but I mean, picking up an IO against a Lich and a Morphling, I don't know. Obviously, IO is very strong when played correctly, but especially having a Lich, with that Chain Frost, with the IO, he's got to be very careful with his positioning in these team fights.
And Arcanis might be willing to pick up a Disruptor now to kind of counter that IO. You just glimpse whoever is coming in right back, or set up a Static Storm to land on too. And MiTH Trust, I don't think it's going to be an IO Naga Siren combination. That seems kind of weak to me. You could go for a lot stronger. As you said, Sven would be a pretty good one as far as heroes that could fight a little bit earlier on. Then Sven is going to be your guy. MiTH Trust, really no matter what they pick, it's going to be the fact that they have heroes that could fight early. But with the IO, with the Naga Siren, they don't really work that great together because IO needs a lot of levels. He can't contribute that much in lane. And that's the same exact thing for Naga Siren. So for right now, MiTH have kind of two dead heroes for the first 10 minutes of the game.
10 seconds.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And yeah, just thinking about that, I mean, do they lane this IO with the Naga, or do you think they... I mean, you obviously mentioned putting it mid, and the fact that Arcanis might react to that. I mean, surely that's looking quite likely, because, I mean, IO with the Naga, it doesn't really offer much at all, does it? I mean, I guess it's nice to have that kind of mana boost. You're going to be able to spam illusions out a little bit more, take control of the lane, maybe even look for the kills with that movement speed and chase down potential, especially with the armor reduction and the slow in the net. But it's definitely not the highest impact hero for IO to be paired with, and not really a hero that you're going to be looking to take relocate ganks with.
Yeah, because you want explosive heroes. When you
Yeah.
relocate in, you want people to die instantly. That's why Tiny is so popular in that role, because
Yeah,
he
that's true.
could blow someone up immediately, and then with the big tree, just go to town on everyone else. And Naga Siren doesn't
10
benefit that much from
seconds remaining.
overcharge either. So I do hope for MiTH Trust's sake that it's not going to
5
be just
seconds
an
remaining.
IO Naga Siren, that they pick up someone else, anyone else, a Bristleback, a PA, in order to combo off with this
Reserve
hero.
time.
Otherwise, Arcanis are going to be able to, first of all, just walk all over this IO in the early stage, and then walk all over him in the later stages as well, simply because he doesn't have anyone to provide him with a lot of protection. They have the Morphling, they have the Lich. Now what are they going to be going for? With the Lich support, you could really go in any direction. He could be played pretty aggressively, although he does excel at being a defensive hero. It's going to be an H Prophet. It looks like Arcanis, they are going to try to outrat the Rat.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, with the Nature's Prophet and the Morphling, yeah, it's definitely split push and rat potential, and arguably, split push and rat potential that's going to come online before the Naga can use it to her full effect. So, again, it does look like Arcanis. They are going to be on a little bit of a ticking timer, and they are going to need to find these
10
pushes
seconds
and
remaining.
during the earlier points, because as we're saying, Naga is just going to absolutely sweep the
5
board
seconds
as it
remaining.
gets to later portions, especially Nature's Prophet. A hero great at ratting and split pushing, but nowhere
Reserve
near
time.
tough enough to stand and man up straight face to face against a Naga Siren.
The
Talking
combo,
about,
though.
oh, yeah, Bristleback.
When you're talking
picked
about
up.
heroes that could fight face to face, it doesn't
Yeah.
really get much better than a Bristleback. And comboed with an IO, that's a devastating combination right there. I mean, the Bristleback doesn't really excel that much with the overcharge and everything like that, but being able to stick on his targets is important, and getting that extra sustain is very important as well. So IO Bristleback is going to be the combo, and they are able to fight very early on as well. If they pick up one more hero, the Scarith Mage still in the pool, which Arcanus might want to go for. One more hero that could complement the Bristleback IO. It could actually be a decent
5
tri-lane,
seconds remaining.
offensive tri-lane. As weird as it is to say with the IO in an offensive tri-lane, with Bristleback, there's just so much power there. And Arcanus, if it is a Morphling in that lane, he will be able to survive, but he will not be able to have a good time.
No, absolutely. He's going to have to be very careful when farming. And now they've picked up the
10
Bristleback,
seconds
I'm
remaining.
kind of leaning towards maybe them picking the Sven as I've seen them do before, because that would work very nicely with the Bristleback.
Radiant team pick.
Having all that armor reduction, that physical damage coming out. And it is one of those hard-hitting heroes that does work nicely with the IO in terms of relocate ganks. And Arcanis, they're going to pick themselves up a Necrophos. I guess realizing that obviously Naga Siren and Bristleback are going to become very, very tanky towards the later portions of the game. And obviously having that Reaper Scythe that does straight percentile damage, it's going to be nice against these heroes with these huge HP pools, and they're going to have huge amounts of armor as well. Obviously, just Naga with the natural agility gain, and
5
Bristleback
seconds
just
remaining.
because of his base armor and the growth being very high. And MiTH, they're going to pick up a
Dire
Puck,
team
so I guess that Puck's alright. I guess it's nice for the Morphling, shutting him down in terms of being able to morph into strength if they go for the ganks. It's going to be able to stop the Nature's Prophet from escaping every time, and I don't know. I feel there could have been better heroes. I mean, do you like the Puck pick in this situation?
5 seconds
I
remaining.
don't really like it with what MiTH Trust have, but I like
Yeah.
it against what Arcanus have. I mean, they have no disables at all right now, so they're going to have to pick up some serious lockdown with their final support pickup. Maybe something like a Lion, just to lock down this Puck and keep him from being completely elusive. So it's a good pickup in that regard for MiTH Trust, and he could fight early on. It's not the worst hero, of course, especially when you're dealing with Necrophos. Silencing him is going to be of the utmost importance. But going back to this Necrophos pick, if it does get to a late game stage and Arcanus, they have a Nature's Prophet and Morphling, then Necrophos late game is absolutely terrifying, not because of the damage he does, but because once he gets Aghanim Scepter, that's like the best tool you could ask for dealing with the Naga Siren, because you're going to be split pushed. That's a given. But if you could hit her once and then kill her off with a scythe, suddenly you could take Raxes out of nowhere. So if that's the game plan for Arcanus, just take this one late, then I think, just going for,
10
well,
seconds remaining.
again, any support is fine as long as they have disable. Scarith's still in the pool.
5
Then
seconds
that is a
remaining.
viable strategy against the Siren. And it's not often the case that you see a strategy against the Siren involve
Radiant
take this
team
game late.
pick.
Indeed. And there's going to be a Mirana. A strange pick, I feel. And Nyx Assassin, to be fair, another strange pick in himself. I mean, Mirana, I guess, nice arrow is going to blow up the IO. But, you know, Bristleback, he's just going to be able to tank it. Puck's going to be able to dodge it. And Naga's going to have the illusions to be able to block it. So, not sure what the thinking is there. And Nyx is going to be the final pick for the side of MiTH. And, again, I guess it's pretty nice, the Nyx Assassin, for dealing with the rat, I guess, from the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, that's going to be most of the power of the Nyx Assassin, trying to lock down the Nature's Prophet, as well as the Morphling to a lesser extent. But, yeah, it's just a hero that MiTH Trust are going to rely on to apply pressure early on, and therefore buy space for the Naga Siren. I really don't like this Mirana pick from Arcanis. They don't have any setup at all, and they need heroes to deal with this puck, and Mirana's not that type of hero. Unless you land like a 5-second arrow out of nowhere, which I suppose is a possibility, it's going to be very difficult because they only have the Lich to set that up with a Frost Blast. So the damage that Mirana is going to be able to put out is going to be very finicky, especially since, you know, we're talking about Starstorm as well. Nyx Assassin is going to be able to read that with Spike Carapace. The puck can dodge that very easily. The Mirana pick is the weak link, I think, in Arcanis' lineup. If this Mirana was anyone else, the Scarith Mage, again, was still in the pool, then this lineup for Arcanis would stand a much stronger chance. But maybe Boombax is actually just the best Mirana player in the world, and he's going to lay down 5-second arrows time and time again. Who knows?
Indeed, we shall have to see. But anyhow, the game is going to get underway. And we've got MiTH up against Arcanis for the second game. And of course, it was Arcanis who took the first one. On the side of MiTH, it's going to be Hehe on the off-lane puck. In the mid lane, it is going to potentially be this Bristleback played by MyPro. Yeah, supported up by SD on the IO. And down on the bottom lane, it's going to be Lekels on the carry Naga. Looks like it's going to be a Nyx Assassin support being played by Gotcha down here. So really mixing the lanes up here. And what's going on the side of Arcanis?
Well, for right now, the bottom lane is going to be handled by the Nature's Prophet. Being played by Bach. Boombax is going to be on the Mirana. And that leaves Fried Butterflies to also be supporting as the Lich. Mid lane is going to be the Mighty Savior Abby playing the Morphling along with that Lich. And that leaves Heinrich's Necrophos up towards top lane to be matched up versus the Puck. I think this should be a relatively even lane, although we don't see that much Necrophos versus Puck. So, yeah, I'm inclined to think it's going to be even. It's the mid lane that's the most interesting to me, just because Lich Morphling against the IO Bristleback is going to be pretty close either way. Bristleback is amazingly strong against multiple heroes because he gets more quill value, but I don't know, Morphling and Lich, those are two very deadly heroes, whereas the IO is not deadly at all. He's mostly just going to be stacking up camps, and one is already blocked.
That's true, and in fact, yeah, blocking two of these camps here, Thornbacks. He's going to be attempted to be dewarded, but the sentry's taken down first by the Mirana. But another sentry in store. It's going to allow them to deward one of the camps. Mid lane, MyPyro going in, and it's going to be this Lich hanging around with the Morphling in the mid lane, and both teams coming up with some unorthodox laning to start the game with. Puck, the most normal I'd imagine on this solo off lane. It's going to be up against a solo safe lane Necrophos. And this dual lane coming out from Arcanis. And Boombax, he's almost certainly just going to be looking to roam around the map. If anything, perhaps focus his attention on trying to catch out this Naga on the bottom lane. I mean, they have got, obviously, the Sprout as a little bit of a setup, but Lekels hasn't got a Quelling Blade at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to pick one of those up. And again, the Battle of the Sentry Wards, Io and Mirana furiously trying to deward quicker than the other. And again, SD with backup every time, and really ensuring that these camps are voided of all Sentry Wards and all blocking. Arrow coming through. It's going to be hit melee creep, unfortunately. So, no luck for the Mirana. And yeah, just interesting lanes. I mean, how's this going to pan up? I mean, who do you favour during this laning stage, Mike?
I think I just got to give it to Arcanis. Like, assuming the Necrophos doesn't get completely smashed by the Puck, which shouldn't happening. Oh, they're going to land an arrow on Bristleback. Now it's definitely going to favor Arcanis. With the waveform forward, going to get to the front of that Bristleback. The Mirana takes the last hit, but it's a kill nonetheless on the middle lane. And, I mean, the Bristleback is, for the most part, just soloing this lane against two heroes. Not exactly what you want. And also, the IO has spent so much gold in sentries. Like, I'm pretty sure that was 2 stacks of sentries that he purchased in order to get these stacks off, which is worthwhile if you could get a lot of stacks going. But with the way the Mirana is playing, I don't think she's going to let this happen. So, this is going to be a very delicate situation early on for MiTH. And if you look at the bottom lane, like, Lekels is doing fine. Bach is doing fine as well, though. And he is going for what looks like a very stat-heavy build, so he's going to be fighting early on. the laning phase for Arcanis is going decently, and the mid game is going to be a lot better than MiTH. So MiTH, if they turtle it, then they should be fine, and it's going to be the exact same thing as last game, pretty much.
Yeah, it is indeed, and be interested to see if MiTH are able to do it. And it was a nice first blood, and it was definitely kind of a lucky one, because there's a high chance that Mirana could just waste her time and with the arrow, but fortunately hitting that bristleback and finding that kill, it does give them a nice little edge at Arcanis to start the game with. And for the time being, yeah, Aya looking to make those stacks. He has made, he's got a triple stack there already, so he is finding them, and that's going to give the bristleback a nice little bit of farm, especially if he's not going to find too much in the mid lane, and of course as well the Naga if they give it to her, even though she's having an alright time in the solo safe lane. You know, Nature's Prophet not being able to zone her out totally. I mean, as you said, Nature's Prophet himself finding a nice bit of farm for himself, but at the same time not shutting down the Naga.
Top arrow is going to be dodged. Heinrich trying to man fight against Puck. Looks like the arrow wasn't even needed. Necrophos, I guess, just baiting the Puck in, and I guess the Sadist and the Magic Stick value going to keep the Necrophos alive. So Mirana failed gank, I suppose, but this Necrophos is actually doing a lot better than the Puck than I really would have expected. 17 for 7 versus a 5 for 3 Puck. Okay, this just shouldn't be happening. Like, I don't think the matchup is this tilted towards Necrophos.
No, yeah, you would think the Necrophos would have a little bit of a harder time here, but apparently Heinrich proving us wrong, and yeah, doing very well in this lane against this Puck, who's struggling to find anything. And Boomback's just trying to be as annoying as he can, looking for these arrows constantly on the Puck, just keeping him very aware of his positioning and making him have to think twice every time he looks to go in for a bit of farm, a bit of last hits. And
MiPro is going to be starting to clearing these stacks, so he's going to hit level 5 pretty swiftly, and SD is going to get a lot of levels off of this as well. Bristleback is going to be suddenly the most terrifying hero on the map, assuming he can clear these at a decent rate. Fried Butterflies is going to come in, and oh man, his level 2 Frost Blast. MiPro, if he decides to stick around, he will be in a lot of trouble, but there are sentries from previous dewarding, and that's not going to happen, but it's going to be Hiki up on top, who's in the most trouble. The Heartstopper Aura is going to cancel out that salve, or the Tango rather, and that's going to be another kill for the Necrophos. Once again, Mirana, I don't think provided much of anything there except for a couple of right clicks towards the end. So Necrophos has this lane 100% on lockdown, and a farmed Necrophos with an early level of Reaper Scythe is not going to care how tanky your Bristleback is.
No, exactly, that's true. And yeah, with this Necro having a great early game, it's gonna do absolutely massive things for the mid game. Oh, Bristleback just dodging the arrow there. He would have been in a lot of trouble if that caught him again. But yeah, with the Necro, I mean, what's he got? He has got the level 6 now. He's got his treads complete. I mean, what does he go for? I mean, does he go straight for the Bloodstone, would you imagine?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that he really needs to be picking up right now. Aghanim Scepter is good later on. As a first item, not really convinced. Radiance Cur is going to get picked off. Looks like Nature's Prophet is up to some Nature's Prophet things. He's going to try to juke out the Impale from Gotcha, but I don't even know if Gotcha wants to throw a spell right now because he can't really get the kill. Although Naga Siren is coming in as well. Impale is going to land. There is a level 1 net. Bach doesn't have a TP out. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. Is he going to go down with body blocks? He might. Gotcha got to get in front of Bach. In the meantime, Bristleback kills off a Lich. Bach trying to deny himself to Roshan. One more hit is all he needs. There it is. Denied by Roshan. In the meantime, they're going to try to go for the Morphling. He's going to waveform out to safety. MiPro at very low amounts of HP, and Boneback's going to come in. 1 hot shot, 2 shot, not quite enough. Needs another with the arrow being thrown. He's going to get vision, but oh, MiPro's going to get himself killed by Centaurs. So, all right, neutrals everywhere getting kills.
Indeed, yeah, MVPs. And both teams denying each other a little bit of golden experience from that. But at the end of the day, I think it is... looking at the fiery cap for that one, it was just showing Bristle dying. So he lost a little bit of gold himself. But yeah, nothing too drastic for this portion of the game at least. But just things worth noting, you know, the Necro is top of the farmers. Well, Bristleback and Naga chasing up very closely behind. And there's not been a huge amount done by Arcanis to try and shut down this Naga at all, and perhaps we'll see a little bit of a change in that. Oh, mid lane, a beautiful arrow connecting with the Bristleback, but he is fairly tanky. Nature's Prophet ult, though, doing a hell of a lot of damage, and Morphling zips in to clear that one up. And again, another pick-off on this Bristleback, who's evidently very tanky, but just not tanky enough to withstand the amount of damage that Arcanus can deal at this point of the game.
Top lane Heinrich is going to get jumped by a coil. He's going to heal himself once. Has a scythe as well. If he gets a kill with the scythe, that will be him completely surviving, but he will not be able to do so. Arrow's going to come in, connect on a creep. Bach is here as well, but suddenly he's in a 1v3 scenario. He's going to try to go for a kill onto Gotcha. The Sprout is going to land, and it looks like the Nyx might be going down here, but no, SD gets enough time to bottle up that Nyx, and he will survive in the end. It's just going to be one kill in the end, going the way of MiTH, but it's a very important kill. Going back to that Bristleback, he actually got arrowed in such a way that his front was facing the Morphling, and that probably made the difference. That wasn't intentional by the Mirana. I guess she just threw the arrow, figured if it hit, and we could probably get the kill regardless, but the Morphling was able to actually do his full damage to the Bristle, and outside of his passive, with just Power Tread, Stout Shields, he's not that tanky. Like, he's still pretty hard to take down, but he's not impossible to kill. So MiTH Trust, they get a couple of kills here and there, and once again, we see Lakelz, he's just farming down on the bottom lane. As good as Arcanis are doing right now, they're not doing the best versus the correct hero, and that's Naga Siren. You have to shut her down, and they're not doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. This Naga is getting away with it at the moment, and she's going to be able to get these big items online. And she went for the brown boots, has the Aquila. Hasn't spent anything yet, so I guess we can expect her to be going for that relic into the Radiance. 8 minutes in, she's sitting on 1k gold, so it's not a bad start for her at all. She's going to be spotted out by Boombacks. There's not a huge amount he can do on his own. Maybe try and catch her with an arrow, but it's not going to catch her this time. He's going to give Vision of the IO, so that'll make Boombacks think twice before going any deeper into the jungle, or will it? He's still hanging around with this Naga. Had a little bit of a game with her. But IO is there. He's coming out on bottom, you know. This is the Naga closing in on the Necro. Does have Song of the Siren available. Oh no, she doesn't actually. Didn't put a point into it, quite interestingly. It's going to get caught out by the Reaper's Scythe. She's going to be able to fight back though. Has got the eye to back her up. And now Heinrich, he's on the retreat. Nyx is here as well. They're going to be able to turn this one around. They're not going to lose anything, but Arcanis is going to lose the Necrophos. And Mirana is just going to leap to safety down on the river. And well, yeah, I mean, well, the side of Arcanis knew exactly what was going on, but didn't react quick enough. And yeah, a bit of a panic Reaper's Scythe coming out, and well, Naga finding herself involved in a kill.
And Necrophos getting all of this farm is actually hurting Arcanis because he's dying so many times. Getting ganked twice by 4 heroes, like, it doesn't matter how many last hits you have, no hero is really going to be able to survive that at this stage in the game. They tried for the Arrow Scythe combo, which I don't think is a thing, but it may turn out to be a thing. And now Savior Abby in the middle lane is going to get Vendetta. He uses Waveform to get in. He's really going to regret that right about now as another 4-hero gank party come in from MiTH. I mean, that's kind of to be expected. You have 4 heroes just running the game while the Naga Siren just farms. And Arcanis, they certainly are not respecting the power of these heroes right now. As good of a start as they had, suddenly the score is tied up. They still have a slight net worth lead, Arcanis, but the EXP is now in favor of MiTH, and this is pretty much the best case scenario you could ask for when you're running a Naga Siren lineup. She's getting free farm, and the rest of the team is holding down the fort. Everything is going well for them. Arcanis, they need, I don't know what they need to do. They need to just start grouping up as more than single heroes, because that's killing them off.
Yeah, absolutely. They do need to be careful. Now, Relocate again coming in bottom. Heinrich is going to get caught out, and this time he is going to go down again. Surely he's trying to run away. The heal, actually, wait, the heal's enough, and Lich is here now with the Chain Frost. Gotcha getting very low. He will go down, and Lakel's trying to turn this around, trying to get a kill on Necro. Will claim it, but actually goes down herself as a trade. Now MyPro coming in. He's going to get caught by the arrow. Now, can Fry Butterflies and Boombacks turn this one around? They can do a little bit of damage. Creeps there as well, helping out, and Boombacks is going to stick around for a bit. And Fry Butterflies coming back in, has got another Ice Blast, keeping him low, and well, oh, this time the IO's here to try and turn it around, and Bristleback goes straight in. Bit of a mistake though, because Nature's Prophet's there, and he's hitting pretty hard at this point in the game. And IO also pays with his life, so a messy fight in the end, and a 3-for-1 trade, where MiTH are only, well, actually a 4-for-1, where MiTH are only able to claim the Necro, but they lose everyone bar the puck, and a massive golden XP swing after that engagement. And MiTH need to be a little bit more careful before they try and pull anything like that off.
And this game is just a mess. Like, that's not supposed to happen. You are playing this game so well, and all of a sudden you decide to take a fight like that. They're going to try to go for the puck now. Bach is going to return a lot of damage with the Blade Mail. However, a jaunt out, and he's going to keep the puck alive. Now dropping the coil onto Bach with Gotcha coming in with the Vendetta Impale. That's going to be a clean kill on the Nature's Prophet, and it will. The ultimate from Mirana being used to little use, and well, they're going to try to go for Gotcha. Arrow is not going to be thrown, however. It will be thrown now, and it's way too late. So kill is not going to be happening there as Arcanis do lose one additional hero. Their Morphling was not a part of that fight at all. He was just farming over in the mid lane. So overall for Arcanis, though they are constantly losing their Necrophos, I think that's going to be okay with them. He's going to have his mech completed, and for a 12-minute mech, that's not the worst in the world. As long as he doesn't constantly die thereafter, and as long as he gets enough farm for his Aghanim Scepter eventually, then this Necrophos is going to be pretty happy with where he's sitting.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's going to have the mech sooner rather than later. Bristleback, though, on the side of MiTH, his mech build, it's... Oh, no, he's not going for mech, is he? No, he's going for the pipe while it's with first. Well, in fact, he's going for the grave. There's 4 heroes shutting down there on the side. In fact, Io relocated out. She's going to come back into this one, and it's almost certainly going to be another person falling on the side of MiTH as they all group round, ready for SD. Tries to tether out. He's going to make it temporarily, but now, in fact, with the Io down, Nyx has to be careful. He's going to be able to juke out the arrow, but it is going to be Io and Bristleback falling. This is going to give Arcanis more than enough room to push down this mid lane and take this tier 2.
Well, they have to worry about an invisible puck. Setting up for a 3-man coil could lead to a disaster for Arcanis. Now a 3-man coil is a little bit more difficult. He's thinking about going in. There's going to be a silence onto 2 and an impale on 2 as well. Fried Butterflies in an instant is going to take a fall, as will the Mirana. And suddenly Arcanis, they don't have the numbers anymore. Bak is going to try to TP out Lakel's. Without mana to Song, is going to have to let that hero go. But it's still a nice 2-kill going the way of MiTH. Really, for Arcanis, if you're going to be going for a push like that, you absolutely 100% need your Necrophos there. He's your mech carrier, plus he has Death Pulse, so that's like 1.5 mechanisms on that hero. If you're going for anything else, you're kind of asking to get punished, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, indeed, yeah, it's a bit strange that he didn't have the Necro there. I mean, he has got his mech complete now, and I mean, fair enough, he wants to find the farm, but he's not going to be able to compete. Well, actually, I'll say he's not going to be able to compete, but I'm looking at the net worth. The Arcanis side, they've got the top 3 net worth farmers. It's Necro on 5.4, Nature's Prophet on 6.2. Oh, looking out in the jungle though, hang on, they're trying to go on Gotcha, but he's got the IO. Boomback's now on the back foot of this one, leaps out, and Bok actually TPing in as well, trying to help. Chainfrost is going to come in. Song of the Siren though. Oh, the arrow comes in though, it still picks off the Nyx, and now the Kells and I need to get out. And they do exactly that, but again, this is going to be a situation where Io is not going to come back to anything too pretty. Might be able to tether to one of the creeps in the mid lane. No, it won't. They've all gone. This is dead Io. Or not. Well, he gets tethered to momentarily, but no, he will go down in the end. And it's another 2 heroes down on the side of MiTH. He looking for a bit of push on the top lane. Box there with the defense. He's got a fair bit of gold on him, 1,600. Hasn't got an Orchid, of course, as of yet if he decides to go for it. Picks up a Gloves of Haste, so it looks like we're probably just going to see the Maelstrom being picked up by the Nature's Prophet. And at the same time, the rest of his team, look like they're going to try and make a go on Roshan. And it's not going to be the quickest Roshan, but then again, are MiTH going to be able to respond to this?
Well, they're currently nowhere near. Once again, I don't really know why Arcanis are going for Roshan without their Nature's Prophet after going for a push without their Necrophos. Doesn't make much sense to me, but now Nature's Prophet is in the area. This is very quickly going to be scouted out by the Siren. However, Roshan is near death, and MiTH, they don't have a great Roshan fighting lineup. They're going to charge forward with MyPro. With the Vanguard, he's extremely tanky. Heinrich is going to be caught in the middle of everything. He has a Scythe available. He's going to try to use it onto SD. That will give him 10 status charges, and now is a 3-man coil. But with this Heinrich status, he's going to keep alive for just a little while longer. Has the mech and the Death Pulse. MyPro's suddenly taking a lot of damage as well. He's going to go down. Morphling's going to claim that kill. Now they're going to chase after the puck. In the meantime, on the bottom end, Boombax is running away from both Lakel's and Gotcha. The Mirana is fast enough to get it away because she has the phase boots. These 2 heroes could have done so much more if they stuck in the main fight, but they decided to go for the wrong hero. That's going to be 2 kills, plus an Aegis and a Roshan kill going the way of Arcanis, and they don't lose a single hero.
Very impressive fight there. I mean, it looked like they were going to come off on the back foot because MiTH, they did have the initiation. They didn't have the Song of the Siren available, but they were able to jump in and do a hefty amount of damage. And I think what the big kind of pointer was there was the fact that Arcanis picked off the IO very quickly in that engagement, and that's the hero that's really been keeping a lot of the heroes on the side of MiTH alive for these team fights. And without the IO, a lot of them are they're kind of left high and dry up the creep without paddle. Coming off on the back foot after that one, and the fact that Arcanis were able to successfully finish Rush as well, and of course get the Aegis, that's putting them in a pretty good place now. And we'll have a look at the XP graph. It's certainly in their favour. 7.5k almost touching, and gold graph as well, it's over 10k. So the side of Arcanis, they're doing really well for this point of the game. Coming up to 17 minutes in, and we are entering kind of the mid-game in which this Morphling and Nature's Prophet, Rat Dota kind of split push capabilities do come online. And still the Naga Siren has picked up the relic, is about 1,000 odd gold away from finishing off the Radiance. So it's not going to be the slowest Radiance, but it's also not going to be the quickest. And it's just a question of whether Arcanis give the Naga space to get the farm with the Radiance and get to that point where she's very, very scary and almost indestructible.
Top lane, they're going to smoke up. Heinrich is going to get vendetted and jumped upon, blown up immediately. That's going to be a clean kill there. They also relocate in the Bristleback. He's going to try to go for a fake Lich. I don't think they know this is a fake Lich yet. No, they should know because the spirits don't blow up. So they know it's a fake Lich, but they're going to kill it off regardless because you might as well do so. It's a death for, once again, the Necrophos, but you know, no one would have survived there. They're going to try to go for a tier 1 tower in the mid lane straight after. Here comes Nature's Prophet. They have a Chain Frost as well. Seems like a terrible idea for the real Lich now to stick around, and he will force staff himself out, but he gets coiled. There's no follow-up, however. They really don't want to go for this Lich. They could have killed him off so easily.
Yeah, they could have definitely gone for that. I mean, Necro was down, so there was not going to be any Reaper's Scythe coming in and bursting any of the cores straight away. But yeah, being a little bit too hesitant with that engagement. Boomback's coming quite far onto enemy lines. At the same time, though, he has got Bok hit down on the bottom lane, ready to start pushing out as soon as the lane's free. But meanwhile, Mirana needs to be careful. They've spotted her out now that they know she's here, but she's going to be able to move away just a little bit too quickly for MiTH to deal with. And Nature's Prophet himself, he's going to TP out, has got the Maelstrom finished. He's got coming up to 1,200 gold. I mean, what do you think the Nature's Prophet goes for next? I mean, does he go for that pushing power? Do you think he picks up something like a Necro? Or do you think he'll just simply finish off the Maelstrom into a Mjolnir?
I don't think there's any reason to go for anything but the Mjolnir. I mean, he's most of the way there already, and when you're talking about Naga Siren illusions, you got to clear those off, and it also does a lot of magic damage, so the heroes that, well, Bristleback has the Vanguard, so getting the magical damage will, at a certain point, kind of go through that. No, it's not exactly the best way to do it. There's no great way to do it either. So yeah, I think expect to see a Mjolnir being picked up by the Nature's Prophet, and slapping the static charge on someone like a Necrophos is going to just be doing so much damage over the course of a fight. So it's a good item for him to get, and he's farming up pretty quickly towards it. Arcanis, I'm kind of concerned for them right now, honestly. Like, they are pretty far ahead, but right now they're letting the Naga Siren free farm. She doesn't quite yet have her Radiance, but she will have that after just like one more camp or something like that. So she'll have that item, and then she'll be split pushing everywhere. And Arcanis, they're not playing in such a way that would indicate that they are going to shut down this Naga Siren. In fact, they're not even trying to go for any pushes at all. So as nice as it is to have a Morphling get farmed, they have an Aegis on the hero. They should be looking to use it in some way.
Yeah, that's true indeed. They should be looking to kind of turn the heat up a little bit at this point. Because, yeah, as you said, Naga was getting close to now has the Radiance. And this is the portion of the game where, well, Lekels will look to close that 3k gap in terms of net worth between himself and the Morphling. And should be able to do that relatively quickly, especially the fact that Morphling, of course, is not running Midas this game. Arrow's going to come through. Oh, nearly catch the eye, but gets blocked up by a creep. And now the push of 5 men coming down from Arcanis on this top lane. They're ready to put the aggression on this tier 2. They want to take it. They want to break the first tier 2 of the game. And, I mean, can MiTH defend up against this? I mean, Naga's not there. She's just going to look to split push and push out the bottom lane. And with no sign of TPing in, it should be an easy tier 2.
Arrow landed onto Hehe. Morphling can jump right in and go for this kill. He's going to wait for him forward, but it's a little bit too late. The puck is now unstunned, and then suddenly it's going to be Savior Abby who's in a lot of trouble. They're going to throw the Scythe. It's not going to be lethal onto anyone. And they're going to keep charging forward. They take the tier 2 tower. They don't lose anyone, and looks like that should just about be it. But the Morphling hesitated for way too long. Could have easily gotten the puck. So once again, it's going to be Arcanis kind of dropping some opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a nice arrow and very long stun as well. Whoa. I mean, these Naga illusions though, burning down almost half of Boomback's health. And needs to be careful because this is definitely something that you got to worry about. You know, as soon as the Naga gets a Radiance, the time is ticking, and it's suddenly ticking a little bit faster because the window for you to complete this game is definitely closing. I mean, they do have Morphling. It's not as bad as in the previous game where we saw a team that had no composition to take them past kind of the 30-40 minute mark. You know, they've still got strong cores, but I just feel they're not going to be strong enough against the potential that the Naga has in terms of playstyle. There's just so many different ways the side of MiTH Trust could take this game in terms of looking for the split push or just looking for the head-on team fights. And I'm not quite sure that Arcanis has exactly what they need to deal with this. Mirana, is she going to get spotted out here? She might jest. I think the cows... No, maybe not with the night vision. Don't think they've spotted each other out. Well, Boombax knows that Naga's there. Not quite sure Naga knows Mirana's there.
Well, they're just going to go straight for the bottom lane. Tier 2 tower. That's a Bristleback, rather, is going to join in. Has a Crimson Guard completed, so he is extremely tanky. And Arcanis, they're going to be doing rather low amounts of damage. They only have 2 heroes here, and they will back off. But Boombax is going to run straight into Lakel's. He should not. This is the real one. Arrow's going to be thrown short distance, but it will land. Bach is now here with the Sprout. Song of the Siren is going to come in, but with the Urn Charge there, the Naga Siren is going to drop regardless. That's a pick-off that Arcanis can very easily push off of, assuming they don't lose anyone on this bottom lane. They're both moonlit, and they do have Nature Prophet coming in. They're going to try to go for SD with the Haste Rune. It's not going to be enough. Waveform misses, but it doesn't matter. They kill off the IO. That's going to be a 2-kill for Arcanis. Are they going to go for any more? It looks like it's not going to be hero kills. It's instead going to be pushing on the top and bottom lane both. And MiTH, without these 2 heroes, they can make a defense. By the time they actually get to the towers, they will be more or less up, but this bottom lane tower is going to take quite a bit of damage, if not just completely go down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Bristleback Mypro on his own, now being joined by the Puck. Puck, of course, does have the Dream Coil. But, yeah, the Fortification's going to get popped, but the pushing power is pretty hefty. And to be fair, though, Naga and I are now back on the board. They can head out to the lane and help with the defense. And tier 2 is going to get low, but it is going to stand for the time being. And Arcanis, they're just going to look to probably back up play a little bit more carefully. Nature's Prophet now with his BKB finished, so he will be able to offer a sheer amount of firepower in these fights.
Arrow.
Bristleback hit by a very long distance arrow, but has got the backup of the arrow. There's not going to be any follow-up from Arcanis. They just look to kind of continually chip down at this tier 2 before they decide to take a fight at this portion of the map.
Hey, look, this time they actually decide to bring the Necrophos in. Turns out he's actually pretty good at sustaining this push, and he's going to be, well, trying to look for a scythe opportunity. He's going to jump in for a nice silence and a 2-man coil as well. Fox in the BKB, instantly bringing down the IO, and now the Puck is kind of just left, leaving his handiwork alone as he does jump away. They get a nice initiation on paper, but Arcanis, they just annihilate that IO before anything else happens, and now another arrow is going to be thrown. Heinrich is charging forward, doesn't have that much mana, however. He's going to use the last of it for one more pulse. I don't think they could push any more because they do not have any more mana, but they take a kill and they take a tower, and they're also playing in such a way that is pressuring the Naga Siren's base. She is farming all the while. She's up to an outrageous 3,000 gold, but that's boosted travels. That's not going to help her fight. That's going to help her farm. So still Arcanis have a nice opportunity where they can, on paper, go for the base. If they get more mana, they should be able to at least try for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that was pretty much, as you said, the sole reason why they didn't decide to commit anymore there. I'm going to spot the Roshans up, and it looks like they might go for this one. It's going to be a nice stun coming from the Ron Arrow, and this time Nature is going to come and help out. That should help them take it relatively quickly. I do know that the next assassin is here. They have got the sentry ward on the ground. It's just out of range at the moment. It's going to come back in and Fry Butterfly sees it, but then again, that's your Lich getting blown up. And he goes down. Arrow's going to come out, catch E, and a lot of damage as well as this Mirana's gone for a Dagon. He's going to get healed up by the IO, and he's going to Jaunt and blink out. Roshan, they were able to take it, and it went. Who picked up the Aegis? It was the Morphling. So again, a nice little bit of play for Arcanis. They do lose the Lich, but I think they'll be happy with that trade, really, taking a successful rush.
Yeah, trading away your Lich for pretty much any objective is going to be worthwhile in pretty much any game, so might as well go for that. They have to look for another push, however. They have the Aegis now. I don't believe the last Aegis was actually used. I believe it timed out, so maybe this time they're going to look to get a little bit more Aegis value. And, well, they are going to be charging up the mid lane, it seems. Morphling with the Yasha is doing quite a bit of damage right now, especially since he does, well, have a completed Mantis style now. That's even better. But also he has, just 200 damage a pop. Now he's going to try to go for SD on the bottom lane. This is going to be a little bit of a tough kill for him. Actually, not really. The IO is not going to be able to juke this enough. He does get her tether out. Where's the Nature's Prophet? Where is he? Bach, get in there, Bach. He's going to relocate out SD, but when he comes back, he's just completely screwed. Now they're going to leave. That's going to leave MyPro all alone. I think the relocate might have killed both the IO and the Bristleback.
They do. They know he's in. Morphling's going to be here. It's going to clear this one up, and 2 kills going the way of Arcanis. Dude, certainly playing very, very well. And 21 to 11, 26, 27 minutes in almost. XP wise, it's still hovering very much in favour of
Dire's top
Arcanis.
tower is under
A
attack.
little bit of a push coming out from MiTH on this top lane. The Naga Siren trying to do what she can do best. Has got the boost of travel now after the Radiance. But at the same time, there's a
Dire's
huge
middle
push
tower
coming in
is
on the
under
bottom
attack.
lane. And the Aya down for 10 and the Bristleback down for a good minute. And he has not got buyback, so this is going to be a team fight without the Bristle.
That's their front line. That's the hero who's probably doing the most damage over the course of these fights. Naga Siren is going to have the Radiance. That, of course, means that now Morphling has the Radiance. So he's going to be burning down everyone. Heinrich is already kind of low on mana, but they're going to jump forward for Gotcha. He's in the Vendetta, though, and the Song of the Siren. Lakel's, will it save him from this Nature's Prophet? It looks like it might. Maelstrom proc, not quite going to do it. 30 HP, the Naga Siren survives, but the Tier 3 tower and the base might not be as lucky. Actually, no, the Mirana's going to come in from the side and will clean up everyone, in fact, with a leap into a Dagon. That's a pretty nice way to go for a support Mirana. Bak is going to kill off the Nyx Assassin in the end as well with, I believe, Wrath of Nature, yeah. And also they take the Raxes. MiTH Trust, they aren't even fighting, yet they're losing heroes. Like, essentially they're just getting ganked in their own base. And at the same time, the Raxes got ganked as well. So Arcanis, they break the Raxes, and this Naga Siren pickup, she has Boots of Travel, Yasha, Radiance. It's pretty good, but it's only good if you have all your Raxes standing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, it was as strong as a late game 6-slot Naga is. Well, she's nowhere near to 6 slots, and this game, it doesn't look like it's going to be going too late anytime soon. So the push comes in now on the middle. Do the Bristleback this time, though, MiTH to defend with. Is it going to be enough? It's coming in with a nice stun. Oh, Morphling gets blown up straight away, but he does have the Aegis. Bristle trying to go in on Heinrich, has not got any mana as at this moment in time. And net getting popped onto the Necrophos. Nice Chain Frost coming in, it's going to bounce all the cows. And it's going to force them to run back and think twice about initiating. Nature's Prophet coming in, he finds the Naga Siren. Puck is going to be able to get away though. It doesn't look like the Bristleback's going to be as lucky though as he goes down. Io goes down as well amidst all of that, and the 3 heroes down. GG is going to get called by MiTH. And well, at the end of the day, that's going to be a 2-game victory for Arcanis.
That was the luckiest Chain Frost I've ever seen. Like, it looked like it was really bad because it instantly went from the Naga Siren to 2 creeps. Then it bounced back to the Naga Siren, down to the Puck, back up to the Naga Siren. Even with her illusions, she got hit through all of that, and she went down. I don't think that was, like, the game-determining factor, not by a long shot. It was the fact that Arcanis had so much pushing power, and MiTH with the IO really just failed with the hero. Like, it didn't get off the ground ever, so
Yeah.
it was not relevant in the grand scheme of things, but it is going to be, as you said, Arcanis taking the series 2-0. One of the few 2-0s I've actually seen in jDL4 so far, so that should be a pretty nice start for Arcanis, who, quite honestly, I don't know that much about, whereas I've seen MiTH around the